So, Uncle Drifter sure has blessed us with an absolute beauty of a gun this season. Enough so that it could actually be worth jumping into Gambit. Anyone playing in the Forsaken era will remember the original pinnacle version of the Breakneck, with its signature perk Onslaught, increasing its rate of fire as rampage stacks increased. Well, that perk is back, but with a rampage requirement now removed, alongside a whole bunch of other perk options, some of which are worth looking out for too. And as a ritual weapon, these options are as usual plentiful, meaning it could take a while to grab the one you are searching for, but in this case is absolutely worth it. And so I did just that. Spent a bit too long in the Gambit playlist and got two separate roles which stood out to me above the rest. I think I might make a few people who are currently farming Gambit upset, but I already have these two roles. The first one has a classic trait Onslaught, but this time paired with subsistence, landing on the exact combination which is now on the original Sunset version. But of course, this random role can now be used in all current activities. And this role here is fantastic for mowing down rank and file enemies, with each stack of Onslaught increasing the weapon's rate of fire and able to stack up to a maximum of 3 times, with each defeat providing a stack and refreshing a buff for 5 seconds. And now I might be slightly off here, but at 3 stacks it feels very fast, somewhere between 720 and 900 RPM, but it is still doing the full damage of its 450 RPM base, unlike Desperado, which increases rate of fire but at the cost of base damage. All the while, Subsistence is providing refills to a mag. As you can imagine, at that fire rate ammo is spent incredibly fast, and this alone is perfect for a reliable everyday weapon. Onslaught feels very potent, and is incredibly noticeable when ramped up, looking to be one of the better damage perks. Not to forget, Overload Auto Rifle is also featured this season, so it can do its part against champions too. I did find the Titan exotic acting wall rig to really complement this role exceptionally well, being able to hold down that trigger on the maximum fire rate for even longer. And this Onslaught role I just described can also be paired with any reload or consistency perk. Feeding Frenzy and Enlightened Action are some standouts available. It's great for dungeons, raids, seasonal content, anything around or online. But Breakneck isn't actually pointless for harder content such as GMs. You just need to change what you're looking for. And again, rather luckily, I got the exact role I would want in those harder content activities. In these scenarios, it pretty much has to be Kinetic Tremors, combined with Shoot to Loot. Auto Rifles are a new archetype to Kinetic Tremors, and these all require 12 shots to activate. Rather quick and easy at a full auto 450 RPM. This will then add AoE hits on sustained damage as well as staggering opponents. Perfect for champions, or whenever enemies get a bit spongier at a power disadvantage. As previously mentioned, auto rifles are able to stun overload champions this season with sustained fire, and this one will do it better than any other legendary option. Shoot to Loot has some synergy with Kinetic Tremors too. The shockwave effect is able to pick up ammo or orbs of power in its affected area, making for easy pickups mid-combat. Another thing I was impressed with was the range, which is all the more important should you want to stay safe, and checking the stats that Breakneck starts with 65 range, being able to be pushed up into the 90s with the right barrel, mag and masterwork options. This is quite amazing for the archetype, with usually only 360 RPM autos being able to push into those extreme range values. It will be quite interesting to see how much Breakneck gets used going forwards. From my testing so far, it seems very strong and offers flexibility with its perk selections. The downside is of course a path to obtaining a select role. Plenty of Gambit games and no guarantee to ever hit that perfect drop, though resetting rep does increase the chances by sometimes giving multiple perk options in columns 3 and 4. For those out there not keen on the idea of Gambit, but want something with the now reissued pinnacle perk Onslaught, there is actually a few other options out there. Starting with a World Loot Pool Void Auto Rifle Ross Arago 5. It can roll it alongside rewind rounds. Another similar option, but in the energy slot. Keep a lookout for this one. And if PvP is more your thing, the Iron Banner Auto Lethal Abundance is another option with Onslaught. Column 3 doesn't look quite as good, maybe Slice will be strong with a Strand subclass for easy access to Sever. Otherwise, Enlightened Action is available for that classic reload option. And finally, a bit of a weird one, the World Loot Pool LMG, Marcato 45, the only non-primary weapon to roll Onslaught, though I'm not convinced it's really as worth it on a limited ammo weapon, as it doesn't increase damage per shot, only the speed in which you shoot. It's still a DPS increase of course, but not one which helps out the ammo economy. Maybe a traditional damage perk like Killing Tally will still be the way to go for LMGs, but if you do get one, try it out and let me know how it feels. And finally we'll go back to Breakneck for PvP options. I haven't obtained anything so far which I will class as a PvP role, but I would be on the lookout for Dynamic Sway with Tap the Trigger. This would be the ultimate consistency role, and Onslaught is still the best damage perk available here. This could also be paired with Dynamic Sway, or any of Keep Away, either Stormed or Enlightened Action. With Keep Away active, the Breakneck can reach 100 range, which again is very impressive for its archetype. And so that's the Breakneck. Very excited to see this one back, and just as excited to use it in more upcoming content and maybe get a few extra rolls to see if anything else surprises me. Thank you for watching.